Yo, before the video starts, I just wanted to say that lately I've been having a little bit of trouble finding new people to battle, so if you are into competitive Wi-Fi battling, you should follow me over on Twitter. My link will be in the description as always, and I try to get around to everybody, so there's a pretty good chance that you'll be able to get a battle with me, and yeah. Alright, so this is an underused battle that I had against Naomi. I've kind of transferred into going into the lower tiers lately just because they're kind of interesting. It's definitely a new metagame. It seems like there's a lot of overpowered stuff in underused. But basically, this is a team I built that seemed like it would be pretty fun. I wanted to mess with Stunfisk. I brought back my low tick because that thing's a defensive beast, along with a couple other things like Mega Sharpedo. I also wanted to mess with Azelf because that thing's just always fun to mess with. So looking at my opponent's team here, there's a couple things I'm worried about. That is the Altaria. That could be annoying if it starts setting up, along with the Nidoqueen, always just a threat. And then there's Umbreon, who can always just be an annoying pain in the ass. So I've got to find a way around that. And yeah, let's go ahead and get the battle started. Also, another big thing that I did notice from the start is that Azelf does extremely well after the Umbreon is taken care of, so I'm going to try to make that a priority. But anyway, so she decides to lead off with Umbreon as I just throw out my flat-ass Stanley. He comes out looking just like a damn pancake out here. It's like breakfast as fuck. So she actually just goes for a Toxic here as I'm just going to go for my Stealth Rock. But after I get poisoned, I kind of realized that, hey, this is actually not too bad because that'll allow me to go for a Toxic myself on this thing. Obviously, since I'm already poisoned, the Synchronize is not going to do a damn thing. And it's going to make this Umbreon a lot easier to take care of unless it does have Heal Bell, which I kind of expected. But honestly, I just really wanted to get a Toxic on this thing. So she goes for the Confuse Ray. And that's not something I've seen in a very long time. Honestly, Confuse Ray is really annoying, so now it's basically just trying to fight these ducks, and I do actually break through, and I am able to get a Toxic off on this damn thing. So that's pretty nice. That's going to make this thing a lot easier to take care of later on, and obviously the Synchronize is going to come in. It's like, hey, you can have one too, but I'm already poisoned. So we're both just having a nice little poison party out here, and at this point, I expect it to probably either go for like a Wish or Heal Bell or something like that. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and switch directly into my Arcanine. It's the only thing I've really got to be able to punch this thing in the face. I have close combat, so it should be able to do a lot of damage, but she's actually going to switch out directly into her Nidoqueen, and obviously that's not the best matchup for Arcanine. I don't really have a whole lot that I can hit that with, and I don't want to take an Earth Power because that will be a dead Doge. So I decide Arcanine comes out here. I'm intimidating, I'm scary as fuck, I'm a big ass dog, and even though I did make the Nidoqueen scared, I still do not want to take an Earth Power, so I decided to switch into my Plan B Zelf because I am levitating and the Earth Power does come, and this is a perfect matchup for me because I got my Psychic type up against this Nidoqueen. Here, I actually just decided to go straight for the Psychic, trying to play it safe, but that turns out to be a dumb move because she just goes right into the Umbreon, which really isn't that bad for me because that means it's going to have to take rocks and then another turn of poison because I can just U-turn out of here into whatever I want. So after the poison damage, it's looking like obviously I do have to conserve my Azelf because once this Umbreon's taken care of, this thing's about to have a nice little heyday. So I go for the U-turn here. It's going to do a nice little chunk of damage, and this is going to allow me to go right back into Arcanine. I'm really not afraid of this thing's offensive power. Honestly, Arcanine just really does not care about this cat. So, I mean, look at this. This is the classic matchup right here. So I go for the old Intimidate thing. Yeah, you know, just do my growl and shit, make it all scary, as she just goes for the Confuse Ray yet again, and I'm like, damn it, I really, honestly, I usually have the worst luck with Confusion in Pokemon, like, ever. Honestly, I'll hit myself like 4 times in a row. But, so I really got to kind of fight the odds here, and she's actually going to end up staying in here, kind of hoping that I am going to go ahead and hit myself in Confusion, but Arcanine is way too smart for that shit, fuck your ducks, and I am going to break through, and that's going to allow me to punch this thing right in the face, and that is a dead Umbreon, which is awesome because that's one of the main things that I was worried about. Umbreon just can be a pain in the ass. I've gotten pretty lucky with the Confusion so far in this match, though. Maybe I was due for some good Confusion luck, apparently. But yeah, now this allows her to go back into the Nidoqueen. So here, I don't want to make the same play that I made earlier. I don't want to switch directly into Azelf on the chance that she just goes for a Sludge Wave. I just decided to go into my Sharpedo here, as she actually ends up setting up Stealth Rock, which is perfect for me, because I get a free Shark against this Nidoqueen. And that's pretty awesome, because Mega Sharpedo is a fucking monster, because what this thing lacks in having like half of a body, it makes up for in like offensive power and ability, because this thing's Speed Boost is pretty damn awesome. You can basically just hang out for a turn, get some Speed Boost, and then Mega Evolve. But she actually decides to switch into her Ninetales here, which I thought was kind of interesting. I don't really know why she decided to switch into that. Maybe she just wanted something to come in and be able to die so she gets a matchup against Sharpedo, because I did notice that she doesn't have a whole lot that can switch into Mega Sharpedo. Honestly, not a whole lot can, but I kind of thought she was going to get the Sun Up to be able to bring in Lilligant for the Chlorophyll ability, but then she just decided to go into the little baby squirrel here, and I don't really want anything to do with that. So I know some type of electric move is coming. I'm just going to switch into Flat Stanley here, as she does actually end up going for the Nuzzle. You're not going to paralyze me today, because Stanley just does not get affected by that bullshit. Honestly, I love Stunfisk. Every time I bring this thing to a battle, it always ends up putting in so much work. I don't know what it is. This is my current special defense wall, and it's actually it's pretty awesome. Honestly, Stunfisk just does not get enough love because he's ugly, but he's beautiful in my heart. So this thing's gonna go for a U-turn there, hits me right in the beak, but that's fine because it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. And she is gonna now bring in Mally, which is the Lilligant, and I should have really gone for Discharge here because I wanted to get a Paralyze on this thing. I'm kind of afraid of this thing starting to set up and stuff, but I go for the Earth Power. It's obviously not going to do a whole lot of damage, and my plan here is to be able to stay in. I know that, or at least I thought that she was going to probably want to try to set up here, so my plan was just to stay in, try to get a Discharge off, and maybe get a little Parahacks, but she actually just decides to make a double switch here, and then just goes right into the Nidoqueen, which is kind of like, well, damn, that's going to absorb my electric attack. And now I'm just sitting here with a pretty poor matchup, and the Toxic is kind of starting to take its toll on me here. It's getting pretty built up. But my plan at this point is I know that she's going to expect me to probably want to switch out potentially into Azelf like I did before. So knowing that potentially a Sludge Wave is coming, I decide to stay in, and she actually does go for the Sludge Wave, which is perfect because I resist that, and that allows me to get a free Earth Power on this thing. It's not going to do a whole lot of damage, but I'm proud of Stunfisk anyway because she does her best, and you know, it still did a decent amount of damage. Although unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to take another attack here after this poison. It's looking like I should probably just stay in and let Stunfisk die. So I actually just decided to stay in here, but she is going to go ahead and switch out and goes into her Azelf, which I thought was interesting. I did go for an Earth Power. It was a nice play on her end because I am just going to go down to the poison next turn, as the floating freaking Q-tip cloud thing over here is just having a good time looking all adorable and stuff. So after the leftovers, it's not going to be enough to be able to survive another poison turn. So unfortunately, Stanley is going to go down, but I am proud of you, buddy. So now at this point, that's actually not too bad for me that Stunfisk actually did go down there because it allows me to switch into whatever I want. And I'm like, it is time for the Rose Parade in this battlefield, bitches. So I bring out Roserade, and I'm just going to go for a Sleep Powder because it seemed like a good idea, as she's just going to go right back into the little squirrel. Thing comes in here looking all happy, and then I try to throw some shit at it and make it fall asleep, but it misses, and that's kind of unfortunate. But I do know that I am going to be faster, so I just decided to stay in, click Sleep Powder yet again, and it is actually going to end up hitting next turn. I don't know what this Pachirisu's plan is. Honestly, I know these things probably, like, what do they do, like Super Fang and do like fucking Nuzzle and U-turn and all that fun stuff. So I do get this thing asleep. It's still just bouncing around while asleep, just a little slower, as I'm eating my Black Sludge, and that puts me at about full. So my plan here is I know that a couple Sludge Bombs will be able to take this thing out, so I just decide to stay in here, and I'm just going to fire off a couple Sludge Bombs here. After running damage calcs, it's looking like 2 of them should be able to take this thing out, although unfortunately it does wake up, and it is going to get a Super Fang on me, which always does 50% of your health, which really isn't that big of a deal, because after Black Sludge, I'm still kind of chilling, and this thing's over here still eating too. A Sludge Bomb doesn't look like if I get a shitty roll, it won't be able to take this thing out here, so I decide to go for the Sleep Powder, kind of on the off chance that she might switch out, but the Pachirisu just absorbs that. This thing has just been a sleepy squirrel today. And so I'm sitting here, and I realize this thing got a first turn wake last time. The odds are that this thing's probably going to stay asleep for at least a little while. So my plan here is, rather than just staying in and having to go for 2 more Sludge Bombs, I'm going to decide to switch into my Azelf and potentially try to start setting up as this thing is just sleeping away over there. So I go into Bezelf, and I'm going to get hit by a little bit of Stealth Rock, but I'm fine, just floating here with my sweet-ass tails, doing my thing. So, still sleeping, and this is fine because I think the worst-case scenario is this thing wakes up and gets a Nuzzle on me and then ends up paralyzing me, but I'm going to kind of play the odds here, and I'm just going to go for a Nasty Plot. She's actually going to end up switching out, doesn't want to mess around with any sleep shenanigans, as she ends up going into Lilligant, but honestly, at this point, I outspeed everything on the team, I believe. Plus, I just got a Nasty Plot. This Azelf is just thinking nasty thoughts, and that is not the sight you want to see there. When Azelf starts setting up on your ass, that's just terrible. So I am going to go for a Psychic. It's definitely going to take out Big Booty Judy out there, and I get hurt by a little bit of Life Orb, but that's fine. So in comes Chief. These things are pretty specially defensive, but after the Stealth Rock damage, and then I have a freaking Nasty Plot, Psychic is definitely going to be able to take out your Cloud. So down goes that thing, and at this point, Azelf is kind of just having a party out here. I don't know if I really even needed the Nasty Plot, but I figured it would probably be best just to play it safe anyway. So in comes the Sleeping Squirrel yet again. Obviously, I am going to be able to outspeed. A Psychic's going to take that thing out. Azelf is literally just one-hit killing everything. Honestly, people sleep on Azelf too. You don't see this thing a lot. It was actually one of my favorites back in the day. I really do like using this thing because it's fast as fuck and it really just hits super damn hard. But Nidoqueen comes out, obviously doesn't stand a chance. I think I would even still outspeed even if this thing was Choice Carved. But yeah, so I think that she probably should have played her Umbreon a bit better, knowing that Azelf was such a threat to her team. So I was able to kind of exploit that. But I thought this was just a pretty quick battle to be able to throw up for you guys. I've kind of been having trouble getting like really interesting long battles. I do try to upload like the best battles that I have out of sessions that I play for you guys. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button if you enjoyed, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter and look for when I'm asking for battles if you do enjoy competitive battling. So peace out.